This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy. Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. It's so great to have you joining me here in these online lessons. This is lesson 2 in this course that is all about jazz guitar. A course I have been so excited to bring to you, being that I've been teaching jazz guitar at the university level for many years, as well as jazz ensembles, jazz combos, and all things jazz. So it's something that I have an expertise in at the highest level, and I am excited to bring it to you. Plus, I'm a jazz recording artist, so super fun. This is a Benedetto guitar. It's got my name right here on the tailpiece. I'm a Benedetto artist. I think they are the finest of the jazz guitar makers, or amongst the finest of the jazz guitar makers, and I love playing Benedetto guitars. So jazz guitar is a passion, a super passion. I love playing guitar, but jazz guitar is even at the center of some of that passion, and I'm excited to bring this course to you. So in the last lesson, I went over Shell Voicings, or root plus guide tone voicings. I'm not going to re-explain them here. At the end of that lesson, I mentioned that in this lesson, I would walk through comping with some of these, working them in chord progression with you, especially for the major 6th, the dominant 7th, and the minor 7th, as those are the first ones we're going to need when we start playing tunes here in this course, and they're the first ones that we really use in a lot of the tunes that we play in the style that uses these. So we're going to work with these, and then if you want to work on the others with the same type of approach, that's a really great idea. So we're going to take these around the circle of fourths progression. Now this progression is a really great way to practice chords as we're first learning them, and we'll do it throughout the course in a lot of the different voicings that we learn. And the reason it's so great is a lot of times the music itself progresses from one chord to the next through this circle of fourths, and it's just also great because it covers all 12 keys. So we start practicing things in all 12 keys. And since the guitar is tuned in fourths, this is a really great way to work chords on the guitar. Now, I'm not going to get into great details on what the circle of fourths is. There is a Theory Thursday lesson. If you go into that playlist, if you want to understand the circle of fourths better, there is a lesson in there that explains the circle of fourths. So I've got it written up here on the board as far as root notes go. We're going to take this around these as our root notes, and we're going to be plugging these voicings into these as our root notes. So this goes, and maybe you want to take a screenshot if you need to, since sometimes I'll be standing in front of this. But this goes starting on C, where we have no sharps or flats. We're going to go from C to F to B flat to E flat to A flat to D flat to G flat to B to E, to A, to D, to G, and then we'll be back to C to start over. So this gets us through all 12 keys. I wrote G flat up here. A lot of times it's also known as F sharp. Those two enharmonic keys. G flat has 6 flats, F sharp has 6 sharps, so you kind of see them interchangeably, though in jazz sometimes we sort of have a tendency to go to the flat key first, so I put G flat up here. So that's the order. Now this is what's kind of great about the guitar being in fourths, is that there's a pattern to getting through this progression on the guitar. So we're going to be keeping the roots on the 6th string or the 5th string. We're going to be on those 2 strings only, as you know, if you saw the last lesson where I went over these types of chords. So if we started with C on the 6th string at the 8th fret, there's a C. Then when we want to go to F, it's just also at the 8th fret, but it's on the next string, the 5th string. Then we're going to go back to the 6th string, but go down 2 frets. So B flat is at the 6th fret of the 6th string. And then to go to E flat, we stay at the 6th fret, but we go up to the 5th string. To go to A flat, we go back to the 6th string, but we go down 2 frets to that 4th fret. And then D flat is at the 4th fret as well, but on the 5th string. Then, if we wanted to keep going lower, we could do G flat, but we're going to keep these chords with the root no lower than the 3rd fret. So, when I need to go higher, because I've run out of room going lower, we can go 5 frets higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is up to the 9th fret on that 5th string. So we can go around the circle of 4ths on the same string going 5 frets higher. So I'm at the 9th fret on the 5th string for G flat. Then I'm going to be at the 7th fret on the 6th string for B, 7th fret of the 5th string for E, down 2 frets to the 6th string for the 5th fret on that 6th string for A, then up to the 5th string on that 5th fret for D, down to the 3rd fret on the 6th string for G, and up to the 3rd fret on the 5th string for back to C. So if we just start off working around this, just getting used to where these roots are, we can just do a do dot. We'll just use that sort of a groove pattern, and you can do a little slap if you want to put a little rhythm in there in the rest space. But we'll go around doing that 4 times on each root note around the circle of 4ths. And it will go 1, a 2, a 1, 2, starting on C. We got C at the 8th fret of the 6th string. Then we're going to go up to the 8th fret of the 5th string for F. Then we're going to go down to the 6th fret on the 6th string for B flat. Up to that 6th fret on the 5th string for E flat. Down to the 4th fret on the 6th string for A flat. Up to that 4th fret on the 5th string for D flat. Now we're going to go up to the 9th fret on the 5th string for G flat. Down to the 7th fret on the 6th string for B. Up to the 7th fret on the 5th string for E. Down to the 5th fret of the 6th string for A. Up to that 5th fret of the 5th string for D. Down to the 3rd fret of the 6th string for G. And then up to the 3rd fret of the 5th string for C. And we stop there. So that's how we're going to work around root-wise with going around the circle of 4ths, which I have written up here on the board. So if you can start to memorize the pattern, you actually can kind of get away with memorizing the pattern and not necessarily memorizing where the roots are. Though it's really great to memorize where the roots are, as that helps us actually find the chord voicings we need to when we're playing a song, which we will be doing as we work through this course. So now what we want to do is take the voicing types and move them through the circle of 4ths. So we're going to start with the major 6th chord up here, and I've got these up here on the board to help us remember, if you need to, having them here from what we learned in the last lesson. So the major 6th voicing. So we got a 6th string form and a 5th string form. So we're going to start off with that 6th string form, however you want to finger it. In my case, I got my middle finger on that 6th fret at the 6th string. Then my index is on the 7th fret, or sorry, my middle finger's on the 8th fret of the 6th string for C. My index finger's at the 7th fret of that 4th string, and then you could use your pinky or your ring finger. I'm gonna just probably use my pinky or my ring finger. I may go back and forth, but at that 9th fret on the 3rd string. So that's the major 6th form off that 6th string, and then I bar across these two personally, but you wouldn't have to. But at that 7th fret, I'm going to bar across those 3rd and 4th strings to play that, and then my middle finger will play the root. So that's how that goes. If you want to take a second and just get used to going back and forth between these two chords, using that same rhythm that we used to play the roots, just get used to that, the feel of that. You can do that as much as you need to, going back and forth. Or you can just take a moment and see how the change is going to happen just by going back and forth. Those are a couple ways to work through getting used to that. Then we want to take these two chords, alternating through that circle of fourths the way we just did it with the roots. We'll do 4 times on each chord. So it'd be like 1, a 2, a 1, 2, ready, we got C6. Now we've got F6. Now we got B flat 6. Now we got E flat 6. Now we got A flat 6. Now we got D flat 6. We're going to be up to G flat 6. We're going to have B6. We're going to have E6. We're going to have A6. We're going to have D6. We're going to have G6. And we'll finish off back there at C6. Just like that. So you can work that at different tempos, all the different tempos you need to get comfortable with the 6 chords, the C6, and then so on, F6, the ones in all of these keys. Okay, so I'm going to take a look here in this lesson now at the dominant 7th chords and run you through this same exercise with dominant 7th chords. So this is our major minor 7th chord. We usually refer to it by its function, which is as a dominant 7th chord, which we'll get into in some day, or you can check out the theory lessons on Theory Thursdays that have come out. Right now, this course is coming out on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so there are no Technique Tuesday lessons or any Theory Thursday lessons for a short period of time while we wait until we can move this series to Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays when the strumming course has ended. So it's just a little while here, but there are lots of Technique Tuesday and Theory Thursday lessons that are already on the channel. So that's just a little FYI. But right now, we're doing lots of technique and theory right here with these jazz ones. But if you want to know more about dominant 7th chords, and check out those Theory Thursday lessons, though we'll be getting into it as we get into this course. Okay, so with the dominant 7th chords, so C7, F7, B flat 7, E flat 7, A flat 7, and so on. I'm going to put personally for the 6th string form, and I'm going to start here on C. I'm going to have my index finger at that 8th fret on the 6th string. Then I'm going to skip over to the 4th string, put my middle finger there, same fret, and then my ring finger is going to go 1 fret higher at the 9th fret on the 3rd string. And I have the root, the flatted 7th, and the major 3rd. So that's how I finger that one. And then when I go to the 5th string, my middle finger is at the 8th fret on that F. Index is at the 7th fret on that 4th string, and then ring finger is at the 8th fret on the 3rd string. And I just want to get used to going back and forth between those, whether you want to add in the rhythm and just kind of practice going back and forth between those shapes a few times, or whether you just want to let it ring and find it. My ring finger doesn't need to come off, but it can slide down. It stays on the same string. The other ones change a little bit. So once you've done that and you're really comfortable going, then we'll take it right on through this progression just like we did with the other ones. So we'll do 4 times per chords, 4 times per chord using that same rhythm. So you'd have a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, ready, we start C7. We're going to go to F7. We're going to have B flat 7. E flat 7. A flat 7. D flat 7. G flat 7. D7. E7. A7. D7. G7. And C7. Okay, so let's take a look at the minor 7th chord then. This is a minor 7th chord, so a minor chord with a flatted 7th. We use this one all the time. So the shapes slightly differently here. Now, because of chords that we'll learn later in the course and fingering some of those, I usually put my middle finger on the root for this one. So again, my middle finger at that 8th fret on the 6th string for the C minor 7. Skip over, and then and then I bar, but you don't have to. Some people will finger this with 3 fingers, one way or the other, and that's okay too. But later on, you can reach 9ths and sort of opens us up for different voicings that we'll learn. But I use my ring finger here, and then I use it to bar across both of these on the 3rd and 4th string. So everything is at the 8th fret on that 6th string form. So middle finger on the 6th string, and then my ring finger is catching the 3rd and 4th strings at the 8th fret as well for C minor 7. Then to go to the next one, I take my middle finger and I just move it down for the 5th string form. So my middle finger's on the F at the 8th fret on that 5th string. My index has to reach 2 frets lower to the 6th fret of the 4th string, and then my ring finger can come up and catch that minor 7th, which is at the 6th fret of the 3rd string. So just like we've got written there, and you're going to want to practice going back and forth between those 2 shapes. Just like that. So if we take and do this one, same rhythm, we'll take it around the circle of 4ths, same way we've done the others. So go 1, a 2, a 1, 2, ready. We got C minor 7th. We got F minor 7th. B flat minor 7th. E flat minor 7th. A flat minor 7th. D flat minor 7th. G flat minor 7th. B minor 7th. E minor 7th. A minor 7th, D minor 7th, G minor 7th, and C minor 7th. Just like that. So you can work this with the other chords that we talked about in the last lesson that I'm not including here. So the minor major 7th chord, you could go through and do the same thing with that one. The major 7th chord, you could go through and do the same thing with that one. And then also the minor 6th chord, you could do the same thing with that one and just get those down. The reason I've focused on these is so that the lesson doesn't get too long, and also because we won't be using those chords for a little while. The songs that we're going to be working on will have these happening at first. So it's a great place to start. We can play lots and lots of songs with these ones, and so this is where we are. Now in the next lesson, we're going to look at the Freddie Green style comping. That sort of sound, and we're also going to look at these within another chord progression that'll have us still working our way around the circle of fourths, but in a fashion that will have us playing the minor, the dominant, and the major 6 chords together. So we'll get used to working those together, which will have us then prepared to play lots of songs and lots of progressions. So it's going to be great, and as we move forward, we'll be getting into improvisation techniques, playing melodies, playing tunes, lots of things to happen in this course. I'm so excited to bring it to you. I hope you have fun with the guitar. Keep at it, take care, have fun, and we will see you again. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at kristenbromley.com. Take care.